If you like what I do, consider joining my channel or donating to my coffee. Links in the description. A couple of years ago, I made a video about the most underrated Metroidvanias, and you all let me know real quick that I missed a few. Fair. But the genre hasn't slowed down one bit since then. We're drowning in incredible Metroidvanias that barely get talked about, barely get covered, and absolutely deserve more love. So today, I'm fixing that, one list at a time. This video focuses only on recent releases, games that launched after my last underrated video back in November 2023, but before 2026. Warm up those wish list button clicking fingers because, hey, I'm the Metroidvania Guru, and this is the top 10 underrated Metroidvanias, Modern Edition.
Number 10.
Last Vanguard hits you right away with its gritty, sepia-toned aesthetic that feels ripped straight out of an old war film. Grainy, harsh, and strangely beautiful in motion. At its core, this is a run-and-gun Metroidvania with a neat little twist, the chord system. It's a short-ranged, whip-like melee attack that's not only used for platforming and cracking enemies in their derriere, but it also regenerates your special meter, creating this risk-reward rhythm of blasting foes from afar and then diving in close to recharge. A lot of people bounced off this one before it even launched because of its failed Kickstarter, but honestly, failed Kickstarters happen all the time and rarely reflect the final product. In this case, it absolutely didn't, because the final product is good. What really hooked me is how non-linear the whole adventure is and how the game frames your journey as a rising contender in a brutal tournament. You're not just exploring, you're weakening future opponents, sabotaging their chances, and setting the stage so you can take them down more easily when the final showdown arrives. If you love that grainy wartime aesthetic, lots of guns, and wide open exploration, Last Vanguard might be your weapon of choice.
Number 9.
Undivine is a Metroidvania that's hiding something up its diabolical sleeve, and it's not shy about letting you know there's more going on beneath the surface. Its chunky pixel art and modest presentation might make you think it's a simple throwback, but don't be fooled. Undivine mixes old school sensibilities with modern design ideas, creating an adventure that feels familiar at first glance, but surprisingly ambitious once you dig in. That modest presentation is probably why a lot of people skip over it, but for me, that simplicity is part of the charm. It's a Trojan horse for a much deeper experience. The exploration? Good. The narrative? Good. The combat? Also good. But the real hook is the secrets. And I mean real secrets. Mild spoilers here. At one point, you can find a QR code in-game that takes you to a YouTube music video that explains how to unlock the game's true path.
Through ascending ruins to the east and high, where shadows linger and secrets lie.
And that's just one of many secrets waiting for players who love digging deeper. If you like surprises in your Metroidvanias, Undivine has a few in store that'll get that gray matter working.
Number 8.
What if Greek mythology in space? That's Somber Echoes in a nutshell. Somber Echoes has a lot going for it. Gorgeous visuals, a killer soundtrack, and surprisingly rich atmosphere and compelling narrative. But the combat is what seals the deal. You're blocking, parrying, and literally vaulting spears into dimensional demons' skulls. I think what placed this game beneath people's radar was, at launch, the game's pacing took a hit thanks to a confusing fast travel system that made the late game feel like a chore. But that's been completely fixed in a patch, and now fast travel is smooth, intuitive, and genuinely helpful. What really surprised me about Somber Echoes is how the game shifts halfway through into a full-on puzzle platformer. And not the push a block, flip a switch kind. These are clever, creative platforming puzzles that feel unlike anything else in the genre. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad it showed up because it's an absolute blast. If you like a strong mix of combat and puzzle platforming in your Metroidvanias, you can't go wrong with Somber Echoes.
Number 7.
What if drugs in space? Not really, but maybe? Ultros has so much gardening going on that there's gotta be some kind of wacky tobacco hiding in these neon shrubs. If you know anything about Ultros, it's that it looks the way it looks, like LSD took LSD, which isn't surprising considering it comes from the artist behind Hotline Miami. And if you know anything else about Ultros, it's that this is a time loop Metroidvania where the world resets over and over, forcing you to repeat actions again and again. And yeah, that's probably why a lot of people noped on this one. The idea of re-getting your weapons, abilities, items, and skills on every loop sounds miserable. But trust me, it's not as bad as it sounds. The devs know repetition kills fun, and they use some extremely clever tricks to soften, twist, and eventually weaponize that repetition. And that's the hook for me. Ultros is the smartest game ever made. I won't spoil anything, but nearly every mechanic, from the obnoxious time loop to the gardening system to the nutrition leveling system to combat itself, eventually gets broken, subverted, or recontextualized in brilliant ways. The way gardening ties into exploration and loop manipulation is genius, but the late game mechanic that unlocks the true ending? Absolutely mind-melting. If you want to play one of the most well-designed and clever games ever conceived, do yourself a favor and pick up Ultros.
Number 6.
Look, if you only had one shot or one vaccine to save every dog in the world, would you inject it or just let it slip? In Biogun, you're back. A bacon-flavored vaccine with a twin-stick arsenal and a whole lot of hand-drawn anatomy to explore. The game's bright, colorful, goofy, and occasionally gross in that, oh cool, that's a sphincter, isn't it? kind of way. And don't forget all the pee. I'm actually not sure why people didn't latch on to Biogun. It's cute, it's challenging, it's fun. Maybe it just released at the wrong time and slipped through the cracks. Which is a shame because the game is excellent. I love how it uses anatomy to create interesting environments and clever scenarios, and the tone's this perfect blend of serious stakes and silly humor. It's tongue-in-cheek, and when Doc X comes in clutch during boss fights, you'll be laughing and fist-pumping at the same time. If you're looking for a hidden gem that'll make you smile, Biogun is a solid choice.
Number 5.
Turbo Kid's back! In video game form! This pixelated sequel to the 2015 cult classic film drops you back into its post-apocalyptic wasteland, Power Glove and all. It's so bad. You're blasting thugs into chunky pixel paste, getting sick air on your teleporting BMX, and if that's not rad enough, the game throws in a machete and over-the-top gore just to seal the deal. Yet, despite all that radness, I don't see many people talking about this one. Maybe it's because a niche indie film turning into a niche Metroidvania is already a pretty small Venn diagram, but that doesn't mean it deserves to be overlooked. As a fan of the movie, I love this game. A ton of the original creators came back for the project, and you can feel it. The tone, the humor, the world, it all feels like a genuine continuation of the film. And the story? Surprisingly clever and a whole lot of fun. If you're a fan of the Turbo Kid film, or if you've ever wondered what a physics-defying BMX Metroidvania feels like, Turbo Kid deserves a spot in your library.
Number 4.
Picture this. Metal Slug meets Metroid. What are you still doing here? Go buy this game right now. Guns of Fury is incredible. From its Metal Slug inspired aesthetic and animations to its fully destructible environments, the explosive fun never stops. If running and gunning and wrecking everything in sight with your mech doesn't sound fun to you, then what are we even doing here? And that's why it's so confusing that more people aren't talking about this game. Maybe everyone collectively developed an allergy to fun? If not that, then it's gotta be the lack of marketing, because the game itself is an absolute blast. But now that you know it exists, it's my duty to tell you why I love it. Checks notes, let's see. Guns, explosions, mechs, huge bosses, explosions, tons of secrets, explosions, the masculine urge to decimate an entire army by yourself, and probably something else. I'll remember it later. If you want a Metal Slug game set in an interconnected world, you gotta play Guns of Fury. Oh, I remember.
Number 3.
Okay, what do you get when you replace Link from A Link to the Past with a spaceship? But also don't understand how contractions or portmanteaus work. You get Minishoot Adventures. I don't even know if Minishoot Adventures is even fun. All I know is that I'm addicted to it and can't stop playing it. The twin stick combat, the quick movement, the leveling and skill tree, the beautiful hand-drawn world, there's just so much greatness firing on all cylinders here. So why aren't more people talking about it? Probably because they don't realize it's a Metroidvania. But trust me, it absolutely is, and I implore you to give it a shot. And if you do, and you should, you'll discover just how charming this game really is. From the hero's adorable little emotes to the surprisingly heartfelt NPC interactions and story beats, it's way too easy to fall in love with this world and everything in it. If you're looking for a game to completely take over your life for a few days, the kind of game where hours feel like minutes, there are worse things to get addicted to than Minishoot Adventures. Like crack.
This is
Minishoot Adventures.
Number 2.
If I had a nickel for every time loop game I put on this list, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. DragonLoop is a hand-drawn Metroidvania where you play as a little horned girl trapped in a time loop, and the only way out is to wake up a dragon. It's fast-paced, cerebral, and packed with some of the coolest abilities in the genre, from a floating surfboard to a spider mech that spits out drones. This one probably got overlooked because of the bugs and rough localization at launch. Dialogue was hard to follow, tons of text wasn't translated, and one of the 2 endings was entirely in Chinese. But after a full pass by the Metroidvania map guy himself, the writing reads so much better, so you really have no excuse to check this game out. And if you do check it out, and you should, you'll find one of the most unique Metroidvania experiences out there thanks to its timeline system. Your goal is to gather instruments to wake the dragon, but each instrument only exists on a specific timeline. And which timelines you create depends entirely on how you traverse the world within its 5-day loop. Turning the entire map into a giant traversal puzzle is what makes DragonLoop truly one of a kind. If you want a Metroidvania that's genuinely unique and deeply engaging, look no further than DragonLoop.
Number 1.
I have come here to drink Ichor and kill gods, and I'm all out of Ichor. Voidwrought is a dark, hand-drawn Metroidvania where the arrival of an ominous red star draws hunters into the ruins of an ancient civilization crawling with monstrosities. You play as the Simulacrum, a freshly hatched being on a mission to harvest the blood of gods. And with its visceral combat and fluid movement, this bloodletting is fast, frantic, and incredibly satisfying. Voidwrought might have missed its mark at launch thanks to word of mouth saying the bosses were a little too easy peasy lemon squeezy. But I've been told a patch tightened things up, and now it takes a lot more effort to persuade these gods to part with their blood. What really elevates Voidwrought is how wildly open its world is. I played it at launch alongside a bunch of other people, and none of us had the same experience. We fought bosses in different orders, found abilities at different times, and stumbled into entirely different routes. Hearing everyone's unique journeys was a lot of fun. If you want a Metroidvania that truly leaves you to your own devices, Voidwrought is an excellent world to get lost in. And that's the list. 10 modern Metroidvanias that deserve way more love than they're getting. If even one of these games caught your eye, do yourself a favor and give it a shot. These devs poured their hearts and souls into these games, and they deserve to be played, talked about, and celebrated. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button to appease the algorithm. And if you want more Metroidvania deep dives, reviews, and recommendations, consider subscribing. It helps the channel out more than you know. But now, I want to hear from you. What underrated Metroidvania do you think deserves more attention? Drop it in the comments and give me your hype points. Until next time, later nerds.